Morning folks, today I'm at New Polzeath and it's a fabulous day. There's a bit of haze, which is a shame, so the distant headland is slightly hazy, but hopefully I'll be able to sort that out a little bit later on in Lightroom or Photoshop. So I've got some really nice sea pinks here in the foreground and the headland in the distance. And I love doing this, creating a lot of depth with your shot. So now if I show you what I got from my viewfinder on this video, then you'll see what I mean. So I've got, at the moment I'm at 20mm, and that's nice and easy because all the sea pinks are virtually sharp. But of course the headland looks so far away, it's really a shot about sea pinks with a bit of sea. So I don't like it much, but as soon as we start to zoom in, then we get to much more like, now anyone viewing your picture will recognise that you're actually at Polzeath rather than just some random place with sea pinks. And the more I do this and zoom in, the more it's less about just sea pinks and more about the location as well. But now I'm at roughly 40mm, so of course that makes it a lot more awkward for getting everything sharp. So either the pinks will be sharp or the headland will be sharp, but not both unless you do focus stacking. So I do a focus stack here because I think it's important to have the figures on the beach nice and sharp in the image. So although this lens goes to 20mm, I don't use it that often because one reason I don't like wide angle lenses is because they push everything back too far. So they are handy, of course, but if you've got something like this headland in the distance, you don't want it to be a tiny little part of the frame. And I see this in other people's pictures a lot. They use too much foreground and very little of the actual, what should be the main subject of the photograph to me. So for me, this is a picture of Polzeath, and so I want to include some of the beach, some of the headland, but I don't want to make them too small in the frame. So I've deliberately zoomed in to 40 millimeters roughly focal length, which is harder work, but it makes for a more it makes it more of a location image rather than just a wide angle shot with some random distant headland. I just caught myself rushing off to the next location. Heard some birdsong and just thought, what's the rush? Just stop here, listen to the birds. So beautiful. I'll shut up now so you can hear them. Photography is great, isn't it? It just brings you out to places. I've never been here before. This is called Lundy Bay. Crystal clear waters and a fantastic view out to the rumps, which are the distant headland, and then Moore's Island, which you can just about see on the right hand third of the frame now. So this goes back to what I was talking about earlier, because I'd love to include some foreground in this shot, but that pushes the distant peninsula far too far back in the shot. So I don't think I'm going to be able to include a foreground. Otherwise I'm going to be shooting at something like 20mm, 24mm, and it's just a bit too far away. So you need to be closer to that headland somehow, which is not really possible, I don't think. So I'm going to shoot a panoramic stitch of it instead, and not include any foreground at all apart from the sea. My voice is breaking up, excuse me. Now it's going to be a bit of a boring middle of the day kind of panoramic shot. At the moment the sun's directly overhead, it's about midday, but I'm going to talk you through it when I've taken it. Okay, so I'm going to do a really lazy panoramic shot of this image, and I've gone to about 40mm focal length, which means I've got the Moles Island in, the rumps, and then some of this nearer headland, which, because it's closer to us, doesn't suffer from the haze as much. So it gives the shot a bit more of a kind of slightly more dramatic look. But because it's the middle of the day, everything looks a bit flat. So this is the kind of time of day when people always say, oh, you shouldn't shoot landscape photographs. But I'll tell you why I'm doing this. And that's because the middle of the day, you see that haze and it makes you feel like it's a hot day. And you can't really get that feeling of it being a hot day when it's taken, you know, during the ends of the day, whether it's, you know, sunrise or sunset. You just cannot get that feel to the shot. So my wife, for example, would have really liked this image because it's a clear blue sky, a clear blue sea, absolutely beautiful, and it would have reminded her of happy times in really good weather. So she'd have liked this shot, whereas I'm not sure if I really like it because I love some clouds personally. And I like a bit more dramatic light, but there's nothing wrong in her liking it, is there? So I'm going to take this shot just in memory of her, because I think it does make me feel like when I look back at it, I'll be able to feel the heat of the day. Because at the moment I've got shorts and sandals on. Hooray for that! If you want to be like me and do a lazy panoramic, then the best way to do it is to always have it in the centre of the frame so that you're cropping off the top and the bottom. Because obviously the way lenses work is they are circular and they have to throw what's called an image circle over the sensor to cover it. So the image sensor, being rectangular, has the worst quality in the corners. So you want to avoid the corners if at all possible and just crop out the middle of the frame. But make sure you've got enough megapixels to be able to do it in the first place. So I've just found a great view and it really is good, but it's the wrong time of day for this shot, definitely, because it's middle of the day and I think the sun needs to be sinking and over there for it to have some sort of dramatic side lighting. So I'll show you what I've got. So you can see those fantastic foxgloves. This is May, my favourite time of year. And you can see the foxgloves there. Yeah, it's a really good shot, but one thing I do like to do is I like to take a shot anyway, even if it's the wrong time. And then what I do is I've got a Word document back in the office, and I'll just process that image, make a small low resolution JPEG out of it, and then I'll paste it onto that Word document. And that is something I refer to when I'm deciding where to go on my photography trips. So it's a good tip if you're not already doing it, because it helps with your planning. So even if it's a duff shot, take it anyway, make a low-res JPEG, put it on a document, and come back next year, or come back when you've got another chance to get it in better light. So I'm just going to test something out now, because it's the middle of the day and polarizing filters don't generally work well during the middle of the day. But what they can do is they can take the glare off things. And there's a lot of glare on these foxgloves in the foreground. So I'm going to screw on a polarizing filter just to see if I can take some of the glare off and see if it actually does things that I cannot later do in Lightroom. So I'll let you know how that goes. May, it's the best month, absolutely no doubt about it. Fantastic. So this is sea beet, and I'm just going to forage a little bit, but only going to take one leaf from each part of the plant and make sure that I don't overdo it so that the plant lives nicely on and other people can forage it if they want to. And sea beet is a bit like spinach. I really like foraging, it's great. So today I picked some sea beet, and I also got some samphire. So I'm going to put those in with my dinner now. Looking forward to it. So here we go. Sea beet, picked from the sea this morning. It's just like spinach. You boil it for about 5 minutes. But it's got a taste of the sea. It's slightly salty. It's delicious. And the samphire, also picked this morning. Oh wow, that is more of an acquired taste. My wife didn't like it, but yeah, absolutely fantastic. So I've come back to Polzeath now on the following day, and it's early evening, so it's about 6:30, something like that. And the sun's obviously in a different position, and I'm shooting almost directly into the sun, but there's some really nice glimmering going on the sea, which I really like. So I'm shooting through these sea pinks in the foreground, got the glimmering sea in the distance, and the beautiful peninsula and island out there. So I'm going to do an autofocus stack and see how many images it takes. So I'm going one stop under because I don't want the sea to overexpose. So the end of a really nice day, the sun's setting now. Managed to find a nice foreground with this kind of stream which is running out into the sunset, and the distant rocks are in nice silhouette. So I'm going to do a focus stack of this just to make sure everything's nice and sharp. I'm underexposing by about 1 stop through the whole scene so that the sun doesn't get burned out. Well, thanks for watching, and until next time, bye for now.